been a few months since KTM has been teasing the 390 Adventure, and we've been dying to get our hands on it. Well, today is the day. We finally have our hands on the all-new KTM Adventure 390, and here is the motorcycle in flesh. We are in beautiful Goa, and we're going to tell you everything that you need to know about this motorcycle. Now, one very important question: what is new in the Adventure 390? Well, if we ask KTM, they say that 99% this motorcycle is completely new. So everything has been changed. And we had done a walk around of the motorcycle when we were at IBW, but let's get a closer look now. Now, firstly, take a look at this front. It has been completely designed. It is a departure from what the old 390 was, and we now have a Dakar 450 Rally Edition motorcycle inspired headlamp. These lights that you see here, these are the DRLs. You have a projector headlamp cluster, you have the high beam and low beam right here. You have a very tall visor, and you have this small slit here for air to pass. Look at this beak. I mean, it looks really nice. It has been designed so tastefully. Look at these lines here. It looks really nice in flesh. In person, if you look at it, you will really love it. You get 21-inch wheels at the front, so you're going to have a lot of fun when you're off-roading. It's going to help you a lot in road conditions which are like this. I mean, in even worse than this. Also, these are spoked wheels and they are tubeless. You get upside down forks, WP Apex, 41mm. You get big disc brakes, and if you move towards the center of the motorcycle, you will see this belly right here. You have a bash plate which has been done very nicely. 237 mm of ground clearance. Yes, that's massive. So you're going to go on rocks, you're going to go on very bad surface very easily. You have these enforced foot pegs. You can take the rubber pads off if you wish, and you have these teeth to grip your shoes into. Or at the rear also you have enforced foot pegs, and right here you have the new underbelly exhaust. Now, some of you might have a question: if you do some water wading with this underbelly exhaust, well, Bajaj claims that they have taken the motorcycle in water which has been this deep. They have stalled the motorcycle, they have shut the motorcycle off, stopped there for 3-4 minutes, and then started it again, and it works perfectly fine. So they're giving a complete guarantee that nothing will happen to the motorcycle even if you are water wading with it. At the rear, you have 17-inch wheels. Again, you get spoked wheels, but these are again tubeless, which is really nice. Here you have the swing arm, and you also have this mono suspension, which is adjustable. You have this nice knob here, which can be used to adjust the suspension. You can adjust it for 30 steps of rebound and 30 steps of compression. The seat section has also been changed. You'll see a new seat right here. The seat height is now 830 mm. The pillion seat is also pretty decent. You have these nice big grab rails, and you have this extended tail portion which gives the motorcycle, it completes its aggressive adventure motorcycle look. And you have a small tail lamp right here which is nice and functional. LED turn indicators are also present, so LED lighting all around the motorcycle. Coming to the tank, the design of the tank somewhat reminds you of the old motorcycle. There have been very little changes here. This is 13.5 liters and it is E20 compatible. Here you have the key knob, and this is what the key looks like. The handlebar layout has been changed a little bit. You have the ignition switch here, and you have these new redesigned mirrors. They offer very good visibility at what's coming from the rear. The handlebar also is nice and sturdy. It's wide, so you have a good riding stance. Also, it has a decent amount of height, so even when you are saddling, you're standing up and riding, you have good control over the handlebar. On this side of the handlebar, you have this switch gear, which also has cruise control now. So you get cruise control. This is the button to activate it, and this is to control the speed. So press it to increase it, pull it to decrease the speed. Here you have the navigation buttons, and you can navigate the menu with these. This is the turn indicator, and this is the horn, which sounds like this. Now, another change is this display right here. It is raised up, and when you're riding, when you're seated and you're riding, this comes exactly in your line of sight. So you just have to glance down to look at the screen, and you will get a very good view of this display. The contrast, the colors are very nice, and they're very legible in daylight and sunlight. And all the menus, all the necessary information that you need is right here. You have the traction control, it's on, ABS is on, you have the telltale lights right here, the position light is right here, side stand is on, so you have that warning going on for you. Here you have the fuel gauge, and then you also have the ride modes. You have 3 ride modes: rain, then you get street, and you get off-road mode. So these are the 3 riding modes that you get, and you can also configure each and every riding mode. Here you have the speedometer, the gear position indicator, the oil level. Here you see the riding mode. You have the odometer, the fuel economy, and you also get 2 trip meters right here. This also shows you the distance to empty. And you will also get these knuckle protectors as standard on the Adventure 390 and the Adventure X. The Adventure X, what is different? We'll talk about that in another video. So subscribe to Motoroids and press the bell icon so that you get notified when that video comes up. So that was the design of the all new KTM 390 Adventure. Let us know what you think of the motorcycle. Now let's listen to that exhaust note and show you what it sounds like. Let us know if you find it any different than the previous motorcycle. Now, let's take a look at the ergonomics of the motorcycle. Now, with the previous Adventure 390, a major issue was its seat height, and shorter riders found it difficult to sit on the motorcycle, to ride it, and that's why they used to shy away from it and would go on for some other motorcycle. But KTM has changed that. This now comes with a seat height of 835 mm, which is 20 mm down, and you can easily now swing your leg on the motorcycle and sit very easily. Now, my height for reference is 5 feet 10 inches, and I'm not flat footing on both my feet, but I have a considerable grip of the ground, and pretty much 80% of my foot is on the ground. Also, if you look at the riding position now, it is very relaxed. The foot pegs are not very rare set, they're nice and comfortable. You have a very comfortable riding position. In fact, I was very comfortable while riding the motorcycle here. The seat is very comfortable, the position is very comfortable. You will hardly have any fatigue or any stress on your wrists and your back, and you can ride the saddle all day long. Also, you have good vision up front, so this tall visor does not come in your vision. You have a good view of the screen as well. You have a clean view of what's coming from behind, and overall a very nice riding stance and a riding position. Now, if you're off-roading, you're going to be saddling the motorcycle, and if you see, the tank shape is tapering. It's narrow right here where it meets the seat, so when you stand up, you can actually grip the tank very comfortably and move around and move the motorcycle, maneuver it properly. Also, the handlebar, the height is still okay. If you are a little taller, you might have to have handlebar risers, because you will need the handlebar somewhere here. For my height, it is pretty fine, and I can still maneuver the bike very comfortably. Also, when you're standing up, you have a good view of the screen because it is placed higher, and the angle also is towards your face, so you do have a good look at what's happening on the screen. Now, the most important part, let's get riding and tell you what this motorcycle rides like. Now, when KTM told us that this is a new motorcycle altogether ground up, we wanted to test it, and after riding it, I can tell you, yes, this is a lot more different than the old motorcycle. It's better in a lot of ways. And just to give you the specs and to compare it with the old motorcycle, let's start with the displacement. The previous motorcycle was 373cc. This one is 399cc. This one produces 46 PS of power as compared to 43.5 on the old motorcycle. Also, this produces 39 Newton meters of torque versus the old 37 Newton meters. Another update that this motorcycle has got is the suspension travel. The front suspension travel is 200 mm, the rear is 205. And if you look at the old motorcycle, it was 170 and 177. So that is a big difference, and that is a game changer when it comes to off-road conditions and we're riding off-road. The wheelbase has also gone up by about 40 mm. So this is 1470. The old motorcycle was 1430. The ground clearance is 237 on this one. The old motorcycle, it was 200 mm. So you get a little more room to play with, a little more bad surfaces that you can go on very easily. Now, speaking about the tire configuration, also the old motorcycle got 100 by 90 section tire, 18-inch wheels. This one has a 90 by 90 section tire with 21-inch wheels. Now, I'm talking about the spoked wheel version. I'm comparing it to the spoked wheel because this one also gets the spoked wheel. The rear setup remains unchanged. You got a 130 by 80 section on this one with a 17-inch wheel. That's the same thing that you used to get on the older motorcycle as well. In terms of the brakes, the front brakes remain unchanged. Both have 320 mm discs. The rear, this one has 240. The old one used to have 230, so a slight improvement there. And of course, the biggest difference is the tires. This gets tubeless spoked wheels. The previous one got only spoked wheels, but they had a tube in them. Now, how does all this difference translate into riding the motorcycle? Now, first, let me start with the off-road. We rode it for a very limited time, and as you can see, this is the terrain that we have been riding on, and it has been really fun. Put it into the off-road mode, the rear ABS will switch off. The traction control also does not kick in as aggressively as it would on the street or the rain mode. It kicks in whenever it's necessary only. And the throttle response also is the most aggressive in the off-road riding mode. So what does that do? You get the maximum amount of torque to get out of tricky situations when you are especially on a climb, and that's when you require most of the torque, and it comes in very aggressively in the off-road mode. Also, this has a very interesting feature, a crawl feature, in which if you're riding in the first gear and you let the clutch go, the motorcycle will crawl up to a speed of 10 kmph like any automatic car would do, and the motorcycle will not stall. It won't shut itself off. It will keep going at a steady pace of 10 kmph. And if you are if you're riding in on a very bad road, you have to ride slow, you're going slow, you can just let the clutch go and the motorcycle takes care of itself. So that is a very interesting feature, one of my favorite features on the motorcycle. In terms of the long suspension travel also, when you're riding very fast and you come across bad patches, not only on the highway but also when you're off-roading, the long travel does help the motorcycle. It has just upped its off-road capability by having much more travel than before. But honestly, I personally loved it on the highway. This motorcycle can do triple-digit speeds easily, and you can keep going all day long without getting tired. The street mode is what you would ride it in when you are riding on the road, on the highways, and if you're touring. There you have a very good balance of the throttle response and the traction control. You don't have a very aggressive throttle response, and the traction control also works in a very balanced manner. In terms of stability, this is a very stable motorcycle. The chassis, it's beautiful. I mean, the bike is so nimble, so agile, and it responds to your inputs very quickly, and you get a good feedback from the motorcycle as well. So if you're on the highway, you're gunning it around 80, 90, 100, and you want to make a turn, just tip the bike up a little bit. It will respond to your inputs very quickly, and you can take that turn very easily. So to explain in short, you actually become one with the motorcycle, and you can really feel all the feedback, the response that the motorcycle gives you. You're connected with the motorcycle, and it's just fun to ride. The front is an open cartridge suspension which has a 200 mm travel. It has 30 step adjustability for compression and rebound. For the rear, you have a monoshock with a 205 mm of travel, and it has a 10 step preload and 20 step rebound adjustability. So you have a lot of flexibility around your suspension. You can tune it to your liking based on your weight, based on the luggage you're carrying, and what terrain you're riding on. In terms of road performance and top speeds, you can do 0 to 60 in just 2.6 seconds, which is 0.2 seconds lower than the previous motorcycle. You can do 0 to 100 in 6.2 seconds, which is 0.5 seconds lower than the previous motorcycle. But since the mid-range of this motorcycle has been improved a little bit, the roll-on 30 to 70 in the third gear comes in at just 3.3 seconds. And if you're in the fourth gear, you can do 30 to 70 in just 4.7 seconds. Now, because the mid-range is so good, the tractability of the motor has also increased, and if you're riding in traffic, you won't have to make the gear switches that often. Now, I was able to pick up speed from as low as 25 kmph on the fourth gear, and there was no knocking at all. You could easily twist the throttle and move along. So the tractability has improved a lot. So city driving is going to be much more forgiving than before, and it's going to be much more convenient for you. All in all, the mid-range is now much better. You have a lot of flexibility around the torque band, and it's going to be much more fun to ride on the highways, and that's why you're going to enjoy the motorcycle. When I rode the old motorcycle, it had a very aggressive nature. It wanted to just dart forward as soon as you twisted the throttle. It would seem that the motorcycle is just moving ahead and slipping away from you. You're not connected to the motorcycle, but this has a very nice power delivery. It's very pleasing to ride when you're riding it on the highway. The twist of the throttle is not very aggressive, it's not very jarring, and you'll be able to actually control the throttle much better, and you know what is going to happen when you twist the throttle, how much speed, how much power you're going to get when at what level of the throttle. So yes, so it is a much more pleasant experience to ride this motorcycle. Now, I also especially want to mention the heat dissipation. Now, here you get a curved radiator, so it increases the surface area by 10%. So it's going to be effective in terms of cooling. It's going to cool the engine much faster. Now, when we were riding on the streets of Goa, we were riding at slower speeds, about 30-40 kmph, and the heat could not be felt on my legs because I'm wearing riding denims, but still I couldn't feel any heat. I was trying to feel the heat by touching the engine a little bit, but there was hardly any heat. So yes, the heat dissipation has improved. I would have to ride it in traffic to test it fully, but initial impressions, it's cooling the motor quicker and better. To conclude, now this is a motorcycle that we can recommend to new riders as well. And if you are someone who was intimidated by 390 Adventure because of its height, because of its aggressive nature, this motorcycle is going to change your perspective about the 390 Adventure, because now this is a much more balanced motorcycle. And even if you are a new rider or you're coming in from a 150cc motorcycle, you will be able to ride this very comfortably. Now, I say comfortable because of two reasons. One is obviously the seat height. It has gone down, so you sit inside the motorcycle. If you see, the seat is curved and it's scooped right here, so you sit inside the motorcycle and you are much more connected. Also, the seating position is very comfortable. Like I said before, you can do miles and miles and you can ride the motorcycle for hours, and that's how comfortable that is. You will not feel any fatigue, so you can do your 150-200 kilometer stretches and then stop for a rest break. That's how capable the motorcycle is. Also, when you're touring, this windshield helps a lot in keeping the wind blast away. It's nice and tall, and I've seen this on bigger motorcycles, so you're getting something that you would get on a very big motorcycle, and it also keeps dust and flies away. Like we on our windscreen there are a few flies that have splashed into the windscreen, so that it does keep all that away, protects you from the wind blast, also in turn reducing your fatigue. Now yes, you all would like to know what are the fuel efficiency numbers like. Now KTM is claiming that this would return 26.5 kmpl. Now we were not able to do a fuel economy test, a fuel efficiency test, because we've been riding on off-road, we've been riding on the highway in the streets of Goa, but I was able to see 21 kmpl on the odometer, and I feel that is decent. But if you're doing more of highway riding, it's going to be closer to the claim numbers. You should be able to get between 25 and 26 very easily. With the 14-liter tank, you have about 320-350 kilometers of range. Now the price is 3.68 lakhs at showroom, which is about 3,500 more than the old motorcycle. And in my opinion, if you compare the price of the older motorcycle and you see this new update that we have got, this is offering you much more for the 3,500 rupees premium. And for this price, I feel this is one versatile complete motorcycle that can do anything and everything. You can put it on an off-road track, you can do highway touring with it, and you can also use it as your daily driver for work, for going to work and your other city rides. So yes, if you want one motorcycle that does it all, of course you can't take it on the track, but it is a very capable motorcycle. So if you like corner carving in the ghats and all, you can still have fun with this motorcycle. But of course you can't take it on the track, but this does everything else. And in my opinion, if you want only one motorcycle in your garage that can do everything, you should choose the Adventure 390. If you don't like off-roading and you can do without all the tech and the cruise control and all the other features, you can go for the Adventure X. That is also a very capable motorcycle. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be fun on the highway just like this one. So that was our review of the KTM Adventure 390. Let us know, what do you think of the motorcycle? This was just a first ride review. We still need to do a lot of testing on the road and tell you what it would feel to own this motorcycle and how it is to use on a day-to-day basis. So we'll ask for the motorcycle a little later, and maybe we can use it for a week and then give you a complete road test review. So subscribe to Motoroids if you haven't already, and press the bell icon so you get notified whenever that video comes up. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. This is Vipul signing off. I will see you in the next video. Until then, rev hard, rev free, and ride safe.